dangerous city on. Now's your chance. Oh, City!
Hey everyone, Jack Reeve, TalkNorwichCity here, back for another match preview, the biggest match preview of the season. It was a massive game last weekend against Leeds United, wasn't it? We came through that with ease, in fact. This weekend, it's a completely different situation. It's Ipswich Town at Carrow Road. It's the East Anglian derby, the second of the season, and probably, if things stand the way they are at the moment, it could be the last East Anglian derby for a little while. Ipswich Town in 24th, that's bottom of the Championship table. Norwich City in first, that's top of the Championship table. There hasn't been a game like this with such a gulf in class for quite some time in this derby. It is this time though, and both teams are fighting for their lives for completely different reasons. Norwich City wanting to get promoted, Ipswich Town just trying to survive in this division. Before I get into anything though, FansBet are putting on a fantastic offer. If you don't like a flutter, then skip ahead 30 seconds. If you do, just listen to this really quickly. If you sign up or are an existing customer, bet £10 or more on something with odds of above 1.5, that's 1 to 2. And they will give you £10 in cash. That's not free bets, in cash back on Monday. So it's pretty much a risk-free bet. There's also tons of specials. Norwich to win to 0, Norwich to win both halves, Teemu Pukki to score, and Norwich to win by 4 goals or more. Simply click the link in the description below. If you are setting up an account, then select Norwich City as the team you support and Talk Norwich City as your fan partner, and all losing money goes to fan initiatives. As I said, you don't have to bet, but this is a really good offer if you are going to have a flutter this weekend. So this is, as I said, a fascinating game. Let's get into the team I would play then. I'm going to go with Tim Krul in goal. It was interesting, wasn't it, seeing his reactions to Patrick Bamford in the Leeds United game. We spoke about it a bit on the podcast. I see Tim Krul as a bit of a fatherly figure now for that defence. He's got Jamal, Ben and Max, and Christoph's quite young as well, all in front of him. That's a young defence. I think he sees himself as a slight protection for them. Ben Godfrey can protect the whole of Norwich on his own, I think, but I think he just sees himself as that. Apparently Patrick Bamford was giving Ben Godfrey a bit of stick. He stepped in. It was silly of him. It really was, because it could have ended with consequences. Thankfully it didn't. Tim Krul goes in goal. The defence for me is unchanged. It's Jamal Lewis at left back. It's Christoph Zimmerman in centre back next to Ben Godfrey. And Max Aarons out at right back. Now, I tweeted off the Talk Norwich City account in the week that if Ben Godfrey scores, you know, it's going to be mental against Ipswich. Ben Godfrey then tweeted us back and said, if I do score, I'll give money to charity. Dean Henderson then tweeted, the Sheffield United goalkeeper, to say, name a charity and I'll double your money if you score against Ipswich. And then loads of fans have got involved as well. So if Ben Godfrey scores against Ipswich and we win, I will be donating £100 to Nelson's journey. The midfield, Tom Tribal, who was unbelievable against Leeds United next to Mario Vrancic, who's now scored 7 goals this season. That's a really good return. You look back to the last time we got promoted out of this division, we needed goals being chipped in from all parts. We had Cameron Jerome scoring for fun, Lewis Grabban was scoring lots of goals, and so was Gary Hooper. But we also had Bradley Johnson, who I think scored 15 that season. Johnny Howson was scoring goals. We need midfielders to chip in. Mario Vrancic is doing that so well. I know Alex Tete could be back from injury. For me, this isn't the game to bring him back in. Tribal next to Vrancic. That worked well against Leeds. There's no need to change it. Up front, of course, it's Teemu Pukki. He's the first name on the team sheet. His movement is fantastic. I just watched him for like a 10-minute segment against Leeds. I just watched him and his movement is so good. He almost hangs off the back of defenders' shoulders, pops back onside and then goes again. The goal against Sheffield United that he scored was just typical Pukki in terms of misleading defenders almost, and then coming back into play and then going again and then scoring. The goal against Leeds looked so simple for him, but it was his movement to get into that position first of all that was so impressive. And the players behind them are so crucial as well. Marco Stiepermann has been, well, a lot of fans have been saying they're player of the season. I kind of get it. He's so instrumental to the way we play. That slight dip over the Christmas period was because he wasn't in the team. Rarely have I seen a number 10 with such a stature, such a tall presence. He's not that quick. He's not got that quick feet. But what he does so well is when the ball is played long, he can hold it up and turn his defender so well. He has been magnificent. Out on the right-hand side, it's Hernandez, who I thought struggled a little bit against Leeds, actually. He had moments of brilliance, and that's all you really need from Onel Hernandez. He also contributes so well going back. And then out on the left-hand side, it's Emi Buendia, who was magnificent against Leeds. And he is probably, I mean, you've got Pukki, who you could say was signing of the summer. Emi Buendia is absolutely fantastic. That's the team I'm going for. I completely understand it's unchanged from the Leeds game, but when you've got Tete, who could be coming back, you've got McLean, who can come off the bench, you've got Jordan Rhodes, who will be itching to get on the pitch against Ipswich. That's a pretty good starting 11. In terms of Ipswich, I looked at their starting 11 for their game against Sheffield Wednesday that they lost. It is very, very average. Bilakovsky in goal, who has been really good in recent seasons. He's been dropped in and out for Dean Gerken this season. Gerken, sorry. And he hasn't been the same player. The defensive Bree and Ciala, Pennington and Kenlock. I mean, James Collins should have been in there, and so should have Luke Chambers. They would be the starting centre-back pairing. Both of them were injured. James Collins with a hamstring, Luke Chambers with an ankle injury. Will they return? I don't know. I mean, even if James Collins is back, you don't fancy his chances against Teemu Pukki. The midfield, Downs, Cole Skuse, Teddy Bishop. Teddy Bishop's a decent player on his day, but the other two don't fill me with excitement. And then the front three of Freddie Sears. You guys know I've always rated Freddie Sears, and he scored, I think, 6 or 7 this season. He's been okay. Colin Quainer, who came in from, I think, Huddersfield. He's a tall centre-forward, bit of pace about him. And Alan Judge, who was actually really good at Brentford, but hasn't really set the world on fire since joining Ipswich. So there's a few players in that team that can create problems. But you just think, with that starting 11 on the pitch, there is going to be chances for Norwich City, and we are going to create more chances than Ipswich. That's the only thing I know in this game. It's whether or not we take them. It's whether or not we can handle set pieces. We've conceded a lot of set pieces this season, and with Colin Quainer, you know, up there, you would fancy their chances from corners, definitely. If we keep our cool, which I think we will, I think we'll be fine. I mean, the likes of Emi Buendia, the likes of Hernandez, the likes of Pukki, Stiefman, they've all probably played in bigger games than this. They've all played in derbies, and they haven't played in too many East Anglian derbies, and I almost feel like that helps us somewhat because the pressure isn't going to be on them. However, we've got the likes of Jamal Lewis, we've got the likes of Max Aarons, who are going to be bang up for this and get it, and the passion will be there. I'm not saying anyone will be lacking passion, but we need to keep our heads. We can't have players being sent off, for example. So I'm really looking forward to it. I must admit, I do think Norwich will be okay. However, this is a derby. Ipswich are fighting for their lives. Paul Lambert is going to be bang up for this. And if you want a more in-depth look at this game, go and check out the podcast with Benjamin Bloom, the Ipswich Town fan from the Blue Monday podcast. An hour of really good chat. It's gone down well, actually. I'm feeling confident, I must admit. This is a big game. We need to keep our pace. We've got an easier run now, but as Colin Murray was saying on the podcast that I filmed with him, a derby against a former manager, a Preston North End side away from home against a former manager. Bolton is one of the easier games. This isn't an easy run. This is easier, but there's no easy game in this division, as the cliche has been told so many times. So let me know your thoughts. Would you go unchanged from the team we saw at Leeds? If not, who would you bring in? Are you fearful of any Ipswich Town players? Ipswich Town fans, if you're watching, how do you think this game is going to pan out? I'm really interested to hear what you think. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on Sunday. My final message is don't do anything stupid. It's not worth it. It's a derby game. Enjoy it. Get passionate, but don't be silly. There are bigger things in life to worry about. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.